Welcome to the Lee Etzler Show, a weekly wrap-up and analysis of Churubusco High School Football.
Eagles, what is your perspective? Out, out, out.
And now your host, Big Daddy Don Hyatt.
Hi, I'm Don Hyatt. Welcome to Lee Etzler Show. This week we'll talk with Coach about their exciting victory over Lakeland Lakers for the NACC Championship. We'll also talk about the upcoming sectional matchup with the Woodland Warriors, and later on we'll be joined by defensive coach John Schmidt. Stick around, we'll be right back after this.
I'm Dean Pantazzi, and you're watching The Lee Etzler Show.
I lost my job and I needed help with different things like prescriptions and energy assistance and stuff. So I contacted United Way. They was the first ones that I could think of. And I went to the agencies that they gave me a list of and got the assistance that I needed from them. Because I received help from United Way, then I'm volunteering my help out to the community, giving the help that they need.
Hey football fans, do you want to keep track of Churubusco High School football games? Log on to busconews.com every game day and watch up-to-the-minute pregame, halftime, and postgame interviews with head coach Lee Etzler. Stay connected with your computer or on your cell phone. busconews.com. When you can't make it to the game, it's the next best thing to being there. The Lee Etzler Show is brought to you by the United Way of Whitley County, busconews.com, and the Churubusco News.
Welcome back. We're here with Coach Etzler. Coach, congratulations on an NACC championship and a 9-0 season.
Appreciate it. Said before, really didn't imagine we would be in this situation at this point in the year. Especially with what we lost with a pretty good team last year, but outstanding effort by our kids Friday night. Outstanding effort by our kids the whole season so far. So we're pleased. We're pleased for them.
You came out last night and took the ball right down the field, got the first score. What did that help you out for the game?
Well, extremely important for our team. Number one, we stressed to our kids that moving the ball on Lakeland has been extremely difficult over the years. And they have a very good defense. They're coached extremely well, and they're always schemed up to defend us very well. So getting that, it took a whole lot of pressure off the kids, took a whole lot of pressure off me, getting the score on the first drive and getting a couple scores early.
Then you had another big pass play from Zalman to Lefebvre for a 56-yard touchdown.
Yeah, well, we like to get the ball in Lefebvre's hands, and he can run it. He can run it. He can catch it. And it was a situation. I think we're about 3rd and 15, so that was a huge play of the game. I don't know how many 3rd and 15s we've converted, this year, but not very many. So to convert that, not only get the 15 yards, but score in that situation was an outstanding boost to our team last night.
After you get the score, penalty moves you close to the end zone, you decide to go for 2.
Yeah, we've at different times have struggled in the kicking game, and there's probably a debate. How often do we kick? How often do we go for 2 anyway? But when a situation like that happens, it moves us closer to the goal line. We felt it was the right time to go for the 2 points.
Your ground game again was right on track. You had 203 yards rushing between Nico and Lefebvre. I believe they were most of that yardage.
Yeah, they're anybody that sees us play, anybody that scouts us, anybody that watches from the stands understands that those 2 kids are pretty important to our football team, and we're going to give them opportunities to do good things for us on the offensive side of the ball. So We like to give the ball to both of them, and they've been productive all year. And it was real nice to see, us move the ball consistently. Even when we didn't score, we accumulated some first downs, and it was a stressful game for our defense. So accumulating first downs, taking time off the clock, and giving our defense a little bit of a rest. So both of them ran extremely hard and played tough for us last night.
Total yards last night, you guys had 281 to their 84. Defense was again on top of their game.
Yeah, and they've been tremendous all year. We kind of thought when in the off season, wondering what we had coming back and what are our chances for success on offense and what are our chances for success on defense. We kind of thought the defense would be a little further ahead than the offense, but didn't really imagine the effort that we've gotten out of them so far. It was a point of emphasis for us to play physical because we played some extremely physical games against Lakeland in the past, and our kids, especially on the defensive side of the ball, really stepped up to the challenge. A lot of big hits last night, a bunch of kids getting to the football, everybody doing their job, so very pleased with what we saw on the defensive side of the ball.
Coach, we're going to be joined with defensive back and wide receiver coach John Schmidt here in a little bit. A few words on him.
Yeah, well, he's got the longest tenure here of any of the coaches on our team. He has invested a lot of time in making this football program what it's been. Back in the day, when the weight program wasn't quite what it is now, he kind of got things going. Had groups of kids with interest in football, even when in the years when the football program wasn't very successful. He had groups of kids that loved playing football and wanted to invest time in making themselves better. We can obviously say that we would not be where we're at without John Schmidt. He was a major component to getting things going back 6, 8, 10 years ago.
When we come back, we'll be joined by defensive back coach John Schmidt.
I lost my job and I needed help with different things like prescriptions and energy assistance and stuff. So I contacted United Way. They was the first ones that I could think of. And I went to the agencies that they gave me a list of and got the assistance that I needed from them. Because I received the help from United Way, then I'm volunteering my help out to the community, giving the help that they need.
Hey football fans, do you want to keep track of Churubusco High School football games? Log on to Busco.com every game day and watch up-to-the-minute pregame, halftime, and postgame interviews with head coach Lee Etzler. Stay connected with your computer or on your cell phone. Busconews.com. When you can't make it to the game, it's the next best thing to being there. The Lee Etzler Show is brought to you by the United Way of Whitley County, Busconews.com, and the Churubusco News.
Welcome back. We're here with Coach Schmidt. Coach Schmidt, great job last night winning the conference championship.
It's a great reward for the kids. They work so hard. As Coach Etzler's mentioned, this is now their identity. They played under a good class, but I think it's time to start talking about this class. No disrespect to the last one, but 9-0, first time in school history. A lot of hard work went into it, and just a great accomplishment for a great group of kids.
A little bit about you coach defensive backs and wide receivers. How's that been this season with your?
It's been a bit of a challenge. As most people know, Lane Folk was a huge asset for us last year as a junior with 7 interceptions, and then he had the injury early in the year, so that kind of took us a while to do a little bit of depth chart engineering, and we brought another basically we brought in Greg Bloom, who was a corner, moved him to safety. Kids have all done great. Corey Miller's out there playing with 2 broken hands, basically with casts on both hands, and he's just doing a fantastic job. He's a huge hitter for us, very punishing. And then we have Adam Bogus at one corner, who always does a great job, and Alex Zalman at the other corner, who his speed is just so valuable for us to put him on their fastest receiver. But it was very impressive last night. Alex was hurt. We only played him on offense. He's pretty dinged up with his ankle, so Hayden Kilgore went out there and played very well. And then late in the game, we even moved Josh Lefevre, our star inside linebacker, moved him back to safety for a while. So the kids are adapting really well.
A little bit on the offense side of the ball with your receivers.
Yeah, it's real. It's been a real fun season with the receivers. Adam Bogus has 3 touchdown catches. They've been in big situations, in big games. Kids are called on to do a good job blocking, and that was a little below par about the midpoint of the season, but they picked it up very well. He and Logan Harris have done a real good job with their downfield blocking. It's taken some long runs into longer runs or touchdown runs, and then also with the wings. Obviously our wings are a big part of our passing attack, and Josh Lefevre's he's up to 14 catches on the year now, and several long ones, and of course he had a huge one last night for that big touchdown.
John, you also started the Busco Youth Football program 15 years ago, and how do you feel that's helped the varsity team here?
It's been very valuable for us. When we started that program, it was getting donations just to get some equipment on the kids and that sort of thing, and the numbers have gradually increased, and of course that happens as the varsity's winning. But when it first started, it was such a big advantage for us, because now our middle school coaches, 7th and 8th grade, aren't coaching kids for the first time in organized football. They've played tackle for 3 years before they get to that point, and I think that feeder system has had a lot to do with the success of the varsity.
Let's talk a little bit of history about Busco. I mean, first 9-0 season. Like I said, you've been around. You've coached for 20 years. You've been around Busco your whole life.
Yeah, it's kind of neat when you look back, because I've got all those records, and all the way back to when things started, and there was a couple good teams in the 70s. There was an 8-2 team, I believe, in '74. That was very good with Pappenbrock and Hooten were 2 of the better players back then. And then in the 80s, of course, we had your senior year, the state team. Early 90s, we had players like Burt McLaughlin and Justin Miller, and had some big seasons then. And then you progress into now, and it's just amazing to think that the last several years we've been 10-2, 9-2, 8-2, 12-2, and you throw a 9-0 on it, and it's just amazing. Our program now, even though we had some down years in the 60s and 70s, we're now above 500 again. Coach Etzler's record is around 70% winning percentage. It's been a lot of fun, I'll tell you that much, and it's fun to look back, though, and see some of those other teams, and you always do the little comparison. Could this team beat that team? And of course no one will ever know, but no team can ever say they were 9-0 like this team can, so that's quite an accomplishment.
Coach, you spend a lot of time here at the school, and you got a lot of sacrifice with your family also as well.
Yeah, the kids sacrifice the most and work the hardest, and that's how it should be. But the coaching staff really does spend a lot of time back here. Obviously we're on the phone with each other till late all the time. I spend almost all the weekends back here at the school, and it's tough for our families at times. I'd like to, on behalf of the rest of the coaches, thank our wives and kids for all the sacrifices. Sometimes I'm sure they're happy we're out of the house, but other times I know they need us there. So we do appreciate everything our families sacrifice. So we can be back here and prepare the best we can for each opponent.
I'd like to thank Coach Schmidt for stopping by and talking with us today. We wish him well the rest of the season. And we'll be back with Coach Etzler to talk about the first round sectional game against the Woodland Warriors.
I'm John Schmidt, and you're watching the Lee Etzler Show.
I lost my job and I needed help with different things like prescriptions and energy assistance and stuff. So I contacted United Way. They was the first ones that I could think of. And I went to the agencies that they gave me a list of and got the assistance that I needed from them. Because I received help from United Way, then I'm volunteering my help out to the community, giving the help that they need.
Hey football fans, do you want to keep track of Churubusco High School football games? Log on to Busconews.com every game day and watch up-to-the-minute pregame, halftime, and postgame interviews with head coach Lee Etzler. Stay connected with your computer or on your cell phone. Busconews.com. When you can't make it to the game, It's the next best thing to being there. The Lee Etzler Show is brought to you by the United Way of Whitley County, BuscoNews.com, and the Churubusco News.
Welcome back. We're here talking with Coach about the upcoming sectional game with Woodland Warriors. Coach, what do you know about Woodland so far?
Well, extremely dangerous opponent. You look at records and you compare our record to their record, and most people would assume that we shouldn't have a whole lot of trouble. Very concerned with potentially our kids believing that we don't need to take this game seriously. They play some very good competition. The ACAC has improved quite a bit this year, and there's some very good teams, and they've been in most of their games this year and played everybody pretty tough. So we don't show up to play, we're going to be in trouble. And the worry is if we don't understand that we're going to have to compete to win this game, we could be in a situation where they're moving the ball or they're hitting us on big plays on Friday night, and we're sitting back on our heels shell-shocked about having to compete in the game. It's happened to us in the past, and we will be concerned about our approach going to this Friday.
Coach, you're going to return to Woodland, play on Etzler Field. Your dad was head coach there for 43 years. You grew up there. You graduated in class of '93. It'd be hard for you to remain focused for the game?
No. We want to win the football game. And other than probably people from outside making a little more of a deal than what it should be, don't really think it'll be a distraction. Other than seeing some familiar faces when we show up there, we're gonna go through pregame like we normally go through pregame. Haven't been back to that field in a while, but pretty sure it's 100 yards long and same dimensions as what we played on before. So we're going to be concerned about moving the ball on offense and stopping them on defense, and it becomes pretty simple once the football's kicked off.
I'd like to thank Coach Etzler for stopping by today and talking with us about Churubusco's NECC championship and first 9-0 season in Busco history. Also, we'd like to wish him well throughout the postseason. You can catch the show every Thursday night on BuscoNews.com. I'm Don Hyatt. We'll see you next week.
This has been the Lee Etzler Show, brought to you every Thursday night at 7:30 by BuscoNews.com.